To make the creamiest risotto, you have to make it like an Italian. In today's video, I'm going to give you all the secrets that Italians themselves use to make the ultimate risotto. Welcome to Actually Italian. I'm Sal, and I've been living in Italy for years now. I'm really excited to teach you some authentic recipes so you can cook like an Italian too. Risotto is one of those blank slate dishes that I love because it's like a vehicle for whatever's in season. For instance, if it's the fall, you'd want to make it with some mushrooms. If it's spring, you'd want to do asparagus. It's summer now, I'm going to make mine with some tomato. It's really adaptable to anything. Unlike a lot of other cuisines, Italian is not heavily focused on technique, with the one exception of risotto. Risotto requires that you follow along step by step with certain rules and certain techniques. That way it comes out creamy, it comes out rich, and it just is satisfying. In this video, I want to help you with those steps so you can follow along with this video the next time you make risotto and it'll come out perfect, I guarantee. Tip number one, pick the right rice. You want to use a risotto rice, which means that it's a short grain, very high in starch rice. There are three predominant types. There's arborio, there's carnaroli, and then there's violone nano. If you want to grade it in terms of like quality, then the one on the bottom of the ladder would be arborio rice. It's fine if that's all that you have, you'll make a nice risotto out of it, but it's not the best. You're not going to get as good a texture, it doesn't have quite as much starch. The other two I would put on equal footing, carnaroli and violone nano. The reason for that is there's two different styles of risotto that people prefer. There's all'onda, which means that it's loose, which is what I like. That is going to be better if you use violone nano, which is a little bit smaller, and you can see that it has a little bit more starch. Today I'm using violone nano. If you want one that's a little more compact, that doesn't quite spread on the plate, then carnaroli is the one that you want to use. It does have a different starch content and it does give a different texture. Let's get right into the cooking now. We're going to start with a nice wide pan over a medium heat with some diced onion in some olive oil and butter. We just want to soften it up, so I'm just going to get it started sauteing, add a little bit of salt, and once that's softened, we'll get to the next tip. Tip number two is to toast the rice. I'm going to be 100% honest, I don't know why this is an important step, but Italians insist that you have to toast the rice. We're going to put the rice in with the onion, and we just want to get it coated with all the fat. Just for a couple of minutes, we're going to toast it until you kind of smell that it has almost like a nutty, almost popcorn aroma. That's when you know that it's ready. If you want to know all the measurements, like how much rice and all of that, down in the description box below, I've got a link to the printable recipe. Tip number three is to use some good white wine, because what we're doing now is we're building layers of flavor. This wine is going to add a nice background of acidity, and whatever fruit that's in the wine is going to come out in the end, finished product. We just want to let it cook off, and as soon as it starts getting a little bit dry, then we know that all the alcohol is gone and we're ready to proceed. You can also see that we're starting to develop a little bit of that starch already. Tip number four is to use a very good stock. We don't have a lot of opportunities to get flavor into the rice. Using a good stock is going to make sure of that. Look for a really good unseasoned stock. I like to make my own stock. Whenever I'm prepping other vegetables, I take all the offcuts and I put them in a freezer bag. I throw them in the freezer. When that bag is full, I know I'm ready to make a stock. So I just throw it in a pot, I let it simmer away for about 45 minutes, and then I strain it. Tip number five is you have to keep that stock hot. We're gonna take a pot and keep it right next to the pan where I'm gonna cook the risotto, and we want it on a nice gentle simmer. It has to be hot because if it were not, it would slow the cooking process down every time we add the stock to the pan, and that would kind of block the starch from coming out of it. Tip number six, we want to add that stock just a little bit at a time. We have to coax that starch out very gently. So what we want to do is add that stock a little at a time. Well, how much stock do you add? It is going to be different now than it will be towards the end of the recipe. Right now what we want is to completely cover that rice. So we're going to add just enough for that rice to be submerged. So this brings us to step number 7. So we have to stir often. In the beginning, it's not super important to stand over it and continuously stir and stir and stir. We do want to stir it often though. So when you add the liquid, give it a good stir. And then just keep coming back every minute, minute and a half. A little side tip, Italians will never use a metal spoon for this part of the process. You're either going to use a wooden spoon or a plastic spoon because you don't want to break up the rice. We want each grain to be intact. As we get further down the line, we are going to stir more often. Step number 8, it's know when your rice is almost done. This is probably the most important step. The reason why it's important to know how close we are to being done is because we do want to start slowing down how much liquid we add. There's a risk of adding too much liquid at this point and overcooking your rice. It'll turn into mush. This is when we want to be stirring constantly. At about the 12-minute mark, we're getting close to it being done. It does depend on the rice though. Some rice is going to be done in say 18 minutes. And other rice, like if you use cannelloni, that's going to be closer to 22 to 25 minutes. So at the 12-minute mark, we want to kind of take stock of what's happening in the pan. So we're looking for a couple of signs. One is when we're stirring, kind of take a look at the bottom of the pan and see how quickly that rice fills that gap. So you push it with the spoon and then the rice fills in. If it's really fast and there's no hesitation, then we're not quite there yet. You haven't developed the starch really enough. Then we want to test the rice for doneness. So just take a small little bit and give it a bite. It should resist. It should still have a little crunch because it is essentially uncooked. But you should be getting close. The finished product should be al dente, sort of like pasta. You don't want it to be mushy. You want it to have some texture, but not too much. So test it. If it feels like it's getting there, then you know you're like 5-8 minutes away. It's at this point you'd also want to add some seasoning too. We didn't add any salt yet because we didn't want to over season it. This is the time when you want to get that salt into the rice. Tip 9, start using less stock. At this point it's really important to not cover your rice. That's a guaranteed way to overcook it. We just need to add a little bit at a time and keep testing and keep stirring. As we keep stirring it, we want to check to see how thick this is getting. We want to see how quickly that space gets filled in. We can see now that it's slowly going in there. This is getting thick. That starch is really developed. Tip number 10, make it creamy. This is where all the hard work is going to pay off. You've been testing and it seems like the rice is ready, it's al dente. Now at this point you want to make an evaluation. Does it look like it's too thick and you need to add a little bit more liquid? Add a few tablespoons. If you want it to be loose like I like it, where it kind of flows on the plate, then you can add a little bit more liquid here. If you feel like it's too loose, that's okay. It's going to thicken up again because what we're going to do now is turn the heat off. We're going to let it sit for 5 minutes off of the heat. During that 5 minutes, it's going to continue to get creamy and get thick. This is when we're going to add some butter, some nice cold butter out of the fridge. We're going to add a little bit at a time. We're going to do a process called mantecare, which means to whip. In essence, we're going to emulsify that butter with the creamy, starchy liquid that's still in the pan. So we want to give it a nice vigorous stir, a little at a time, until all that butter is incorporated. At this point, we're going to add some grated Parmesan. We're also going to blend that in. And now we want to give it another final taste for seasoning. Seems like I need a little bit more salt, so I add a little bit more, and that's it. We're done. We're ready to plate this up. That's your basic risotto. That's like your blank canvas, and you can paint it whatever way you like. This is your opportunity to take whatever's fresh and in season and to make risotto with that. There's 2 different ways to go about this. Some people would add whatever ingredient that they're going to make in the very beginning. Basically, after you put the onions in, you'd also put in your mushrooms, your zucchini. When you do it that way, every bite is going to have the essence of whatever that ingredient is. Other people, like me, like to have it done separately. So you cook that ingredient on its own, and then you top the risotto with it at the end. And what you get when you do that is each bite being a little bit different. Go with the seasons on this one. If you want to do a risotto alla milanese in the fall, you just add a little bit of saffron to the stock, and then you'd serve it with an ossobuco. I'm going to link to a recipe for awesome ossobuco so you could pair it with this risotto. Otherwise, you could use some seafood. You could use asparagus. In my case, it's summertime and I want to make use of the fresh tomatoes and basil. So what I do is in a pan with a little bit of olive oil, I put in the tomatoes and just get them wilted. With a little bit of salt, they'll start to break down. After about 5 minutes, they're nice and creamy. I just add some chiffonata basil, give it a few tosses, and that's it. I can just put that right over the top of the risotto. All the flavors are just right on this. I can taste the wine. It was a little bit fruity, so that fruit is coming out. We've got that acidity that really kind of lightens everything up. And the flavors are just clean. By using the right ingredients, good stock, good wine, good rice, and not overloading it with cream and mascarpone and things like that, you take care of those details, you use this technique, and the flavors are just spot on. Then when you top it with something fresh and in season, you just knock it out of the park. It's just a great dish. I hope next time you make risotto, you use this video, follow along, and let me know how it comes out. I will see you in the next video.